Hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, your statistics and sports podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Tracy.
And I am still Corwin Heller.
He still is. He still is. It's funny, Corwin. Last time we recorded, there were two Arizona pitchers in the top three for ERA. Right?
Yeah.
There is now
I recall.
zero Arizona pitchers in the top three for ERA. And in fact, there's now only one Arizona pitcher in the top 10 for ERA. And
what did I miss out of Zach Gallen's last game?
And that's what I'm going to go look up, because what must have happened for there to be that large of a dip? This was not what we had planned on talking about.
That doesn't even make sense. You
Wait,
gave one run?
Yeah, I'm
still
confused.
Has a 105 ERA.
Yeah, then how is he not here in the? Because I show on Baseball Reference Pablo Lopez with a 105 ERA, and then it goes Cortez, Verlander, Michaelis, Kopech, blah blah blah. Is Baseball Reference having an ordeal?
Earned run at. Why can't I see? I need to see the leaderboards.
Yeah, because Zach Gallen should absolutely be here with his 105, unless he's no longer a qualified starter anymore. Maybe he's below the innings threshold.
How many runs does he, or how many innings does he have?
I always forget what that cutoff is. Let me double check.
Also, Merrill Kelly is still shown there as the third person in ERA with a 171.
Hold on. I showed Merrill Kelly at number 7. Are you looking at National League only?
Sam?
Yeah, bitch.
Number 7, 171. Yep.
You need to throw at least 5 innings for the ERA or for the win. But what's the ERA? Because I know for like batters, it's 3.2 plate appearances per your team's games.
He's 34.1 innings pitched. I don't know how it couldn't be qualified.
Yeah, because how many pitches or how many innings is that per start? He's got 6 starts. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. That's plenty. That's 6, almost 6. It's over 5 innings per start. It's more innings per start than Zach. I guess it actually is technically.
It's like one start short.
It's more, unless it's the number of starts that matter. I don't know now why Zach Gallen wouldn't be a qualified starter. I'm thrown for a loop.
It must be, because all of these other guys on the list have at least 40.
Yeah, I'm seeing Pablo Lopez with 43. Verlander's got 45. It's got to be the innings.
Whoa.
What?
Here's a fun stat. Michael Kopech having a fantastic year.
1.54 ERA.
Oh, I'm stupid. Never mind. This is a positive stat, not a negative one. I saw hits per 9 innings pitched, and Kopech was at number 1 with 4.114. I read it as hits batsman. I was like, he's hitting 4 people per game? Holy fuck.
Yo, he has allowed 0 home runs so far this season?
Good for him.
Holy shit. But what's interesting is Kopech is here with 7 starts and 35 innings.
Yeah.
But Zach Gallen
must
isn't
be like
there.
That 0.1 inning.
I was gonna say it's got to be those 2/3 innings. The difference between 34.1 and 35 innings. That's got to be the difference. This is so not what we plan on talking about today. So sorry for this deviation. I don't know what I planned on saying about this. I remember now. Nestor Cortez is having a phenomenal season now, has the lowest ERA in the American League, which means that one would assume if the season ended today, he would be in a pretty good spot to get Cy Young votes, if not win the award. Not anything that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about today, because we kind of just talked about Nestor Cortez relatively in depth a handful of episodes ago. So there's nothing really new to discuss with him since nothing's changed. He just keeps not getting any worse, which is fantastic for Yankees fans and for people who like crafty lefties trademark. Because boy, howdy, is that what he is. But thought we'd be worth calling it out. Speaking of pitching performances, it's going to be a pitching heavy day as Albert Pujols made his MLB pitching debut the other night as the St. Louis Cardinals were tackling the the fucking goddamn it son of a bitch Giants. Fuck me. A game in which they ended up winning 15-6. So in garbage time, we got a position player pitching from the team doing the trouncing, which it feels as though we don't always get. Again, it's nice to see some of the unwritten rule stuff slowly fading into irrelevancy. So Albert Pujols ended up closing out the game. He came in with a significant lead, which was great because he allowed 4 earned runs, the only earned runs allowed by any of the quote-unquote relievers in his 1 inning pitched. He allowed 3 hits, 2 of which were home runs, and 1 walk. He threw 27 strikes. Oh, sorry, 16 strikes on 27 pitches. All right, that's more fun. That makes more sense. That's pretty funny. And it's kind of interesting, not in like a real way, but it's funny that this is his first pitching appearance in his career because the man is like 90.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been on some pretty bad Angels teams. And with the Angels being a parade of people who are constantly hurt and, also we're not very good, it's funny that he hasn't done this before, right?
It must be like a respect thing. Like of all the people that we're going to send out there to like get their stats completely embarrassed, like we're not going to throw out. You know what it might be? It might be a desperate attempt to prevent him from getting so much negative WAR he stays under 100 for his career.
I had that exact thought when I saw that he allowed all those earned runs because I'm like, no, that still counts. Albert, stop it. It still counts against your WAR. You're hurting yourself. Don't do it. I know it's fun, but like, man, you are 0.3 WAR away from being back at 100. Please stop.
Is he still playing like decently well? Like all things considered?
We did just talk about him last episode, 2 episodes ago, about how he's still mashing lefties. And it appears that I'm not going to go into the splits again, but it appears as though as long as he's being deployed in that way, I would assume. Yeah, he's still killing it. His OPS plus so far this season is 132, which is fantastic. He's only appeared in 17 games. So again, I would assume that this is because they're deploying him mostly against lefties. But his on base is 375, which is hilarious. He has hit 2 home runs so far this season. So, not a lot. He doesn't have the wheels to hit a lot of doubles. He has 2 so far in the year, but he's got his 8 walks. He's got 6 RBIs. He's getting on base. He's doing the thing.
I saw a really fun stat today that Albert Pujols joins a list of players that includes only Babe Ruth for having hit 600 home runs and have pitched in a game. Just shown up, just walked up to the mound and had 600 homers. Him and the Babe.
Equally as well.
Oh, yeah. No need to dig into any further stats, just
this to me
participation trophies.
This to me is a more interesting conversation than like could Ottavino strike out Babe Ruth? Who would hit more home runs off the other? Babe Ruth off of Pujols or Pujols off of Babe Ruth?
I mean, it has to be Babe Ruth hitting more home runs off Pujols.
Because this is where it gets interesting. Because I'm willing to bet that Ruth probably threw harder than Pujols, but only because Pujols is never has been a pitcher and played first base, a very not throwing hard position. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would
agree.
It's not even like the case of like, oh, which one is that much better of a batter? It's like, well, one of them knows how to do the second aspect of this, and the other doesn't.
Right. And to such a degree that Pujols would essentially be soft tossing lobs. They'd be batting practice pitches. And if there's anything that's going to translate over 100 years of baseball development, it's going to be the soft tossed batting practice lobs that the Babe
Right.
could still totally. It's not like he's going up against a slider. He'd be
Mhm.
going up against warm up pitches. So yeah, I think he could definitely still knock those.
It's like asking like between me and Steph Curry, it's like, all right, who can hit the most putts and who can make the most 3-point shots? And it's like, well, yeah, like the argument, who can putt better, me or Steph Curry? Like there's a conversation to be had. If you're comparing my ability to shoot a 3-point shot and Steph Curry's ability to shoot a 3-point shot, like there's no case to be made from that point forward.
Do you think you could hit 10 3-point shots faster than Steph Curry could hit 10 full court shots?
No.
Do you think you could hit 10 2-point shots faster than Steph Curry could hit 10 full court shots?
Am I standing under the basket?
No, like you're like, let's say 3 steps in from you're like on one of the corners of the free throw line. You know what I mean? Like right outside that little, I don't know what
So
the basketball
not
terms
so
are.
not like taking a free throw where it's like perfectly lined up,
That's
just
my
like a
next
little
question.
off center.
Yeah, you're outside of that
So
like
10 of those
dick-shaped
before Steph
area.
makes 10 full court shots. Is there somebody rebounding?
No. Oh, you mean
Oh.
like, does he have to get his own rebound? No, there's someone rebounding the ball back. Yeah.
Do I have to get my own rebound?
No. Now that you both have an infinite supply of basketballs right next to you.
I think it's possible. I don't think it would be like a confident thing, but like, yeah, I think there's enough luck involved here where I may be able to do that.
And it'd be like one, and then like you guys would take turns. Like it wouldn't be. Or like you would just go until you hit 10 and then Steph would go until he hit 10. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't be a race. It wouldn't be a timed thing. It'd be a number of attempts.
The race aspect, like my ball doesn't have to go nearly as far. Like I would just be able to pump out shots as fast as I can. Oh, in that case, no, I don't.
Do you think you could hit 10 free throws faster than Steph could hit?
If it is back and forth,
or a number of
it really just comes down to like I'm expecting to hit maybe 40% of my free throws. Can Steph Curry make 4 full court shots out of 10? I don't think so. I don't know if he could. If he makes the first one, it's over. It's like, how long until Steph finds a shot to know how to do it?
And how long is the endurance aspect? Because I'm sure that muscling out a full court shot is also a significant amount of strain.
But again, he's also a professional athlete who
I know. But I'm saying,
like,
if it takes him more than like 20 shots, eventually you're going to start tuckering out a little bit. But at the same time, I know that like if you were asking me this question, the answer would be universally no, because I have seen how many free throws I could make in a 10-shot span. And if I hit 3, it's a good run.
Yeah.
It's a good set of 10 if I hit 3. I'm so not good at like, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. It's
and you know what? The mental pressure of being there in that competition is not the same as just being alone in the Health Quest gym, just shooting around. You would be like, I would be shaking trying to take those shots.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so I guess that can wrap up our Albert Pujols discussion. Seamless transition. Boom. Speaking of more pitching performance stuff, before we get into the thing that we're going to spend the most time on today, which, man, that never goes the way we intend for it to go. The Cincinnati Reds threw an unofficial no-hitter. Unofficial because the pitching team did not pitch 9 complete innings. They only pitched 8 innings. And why would they only pitch 8 innings in a no-hitter? That's because they lost the game. And they were the away team, which means they got walked. All that actually didn't get walked off because it didn't. Well, it wasn't a walk off, but they didn't need. They didn't get the opportunity to pitch for a ninth inning. And oh man, and how does that happen? Well, Hunter Green threw a bunch of really great innings, and then walked the bases loaded with fewer than 2 outs. And that means that you can score a run on and out. And so Hunter,
on a walk.
On an out. They scored this run on an out. If the bases are loaded under 2 outs,
I see. Yeah,
you can score a run on an out. So Hunter Green comes up. It is the bottom of the 8th. And Hunter Green gets a second pitch out on Jack Sawinski, which first time I'm seeing that name, and he plays for a professional baseball team. Oh, well, I don't know any of the. All right, I know a couple of these names. Then Rodolfo Castro, another man I don't know who that is, works a 6-pitch walk, and then Michael Perez comes up, and he works a 7-pitch walk. So now there's 2 men on, and there's 1 out. My mistake, just 1 out. So then after 7.1 innings pitched, and however many fucking actual pitches that is, I'm not going to go look. Art Warren comes in relief, faces Ben Gamel, and Art Warren walks Ben Gamel on 4 straight pitches to load the bases. So now it's bases loaded, 1 out, which again means outside of a double play, you can score a run on a long fly ball or the right type of ground ball in the infield. And that's essentially what happened, where Cabrian Hayes comes up on the 4th pitch of his at bat, hits a ground out to second base, and what's his fucking name? Who scored? Castro. There we go. God damn it, Rodolfo Castro scores on the play for the first run of the game. Brian Rumsland comes up, first pitch fly out, pop out to short, but it doesn't matter. Damage done. Can the Reds do something in the top of the 9th? Boy, howdy, no, they fucking can't. 3rd pitch pop out from Tommy Pham, and then Mike Moustakas hits a 4th pitch line out, and then TJ Friddle hits a 6th pitch ground out 2-1 to end the game. Pirates win. Pirates got no hit and won. Reds pitched a no hit and lost. Real quick, because I do have the time to go look for it. The pitch total for fucking Hunter Green. Oh my God, 118 pitches. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they should not have let him that long.
Yeah, that's especially for a guy who is both new to the league as a rookie and prone to bouts of wild pitching.
Also, your team blows hot ass and you're away. So like, you're bad. Don't risk one of the few good players you have getting hurt. And you're not in your hometown. So like, it's something like you can even say, we want to put on a good show for, the Reds faithful. They're not there.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's stupid.
God, the Reds are the Reds the next joke organization if they're not already?
You know what's wild? I was looking at standings today, and I'm so used to the Orioles being the worst team in the league, and I think they have the 7th worst record, like the 7 teams with worse records than the Orioles right now. One of them, of course, being the Reds, who have the magical record. They don't have 10 wins. What's more impressive, that the Yankees don't have 10 losses or that the Reds don't have 10 wins?
At an even 35 games in?
35 for the Reds, 34 for the Yankees, but basically the same.
I mean, I feel like they're almost equally impressive. I feel like the Yankees, just because I feel like 9 wins, 25 losses is terrible, but it wouldn't have been so exceptionally bad if they didn't start 3-22.
You know what? I'm actually going to say the Reds because they play in the worst division in baseball. Like, seriously, there is 3 out of 5 of the teams in their division are below 500. And I think it's the second most. Oh, shit. Actually, there's 2. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. The American League is ugly. Holy shit, the AL Central is bad. Wow, I didn't realize that every team but the Twins were under 500. Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I did not realize that. That is. Oh, wow. Okay. We'll revisit that later. But regardless, this division is still quite bad. Like, the Cubs have a sub 400 win percent. The Pirates are closer to 500, but at 15 and 19, they're not exactly doing anything fantastic. Like there's opportunity for the Reds to run into some more wins just kind of by mistake. Then I think, with the Yankees having a relatively easier schedule, you still have to actually win the games, which is hard to do with such frequency, but with, you could say a weaker quality opponent, a hot start, you can write it off in a couple different ways, but to not amass a pathetic number of wins. Like the Reds have a win percent of 257. To not amass just 10 wins is, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Would you? God. How would you feel as a Reds fan if your team pitched a no, in air quotes, no hitter and lost? You can't celebrate that, right?
No, you can't celebrate it. I feel like it's genuinely one of those, like, just throw your hands up and just like, of course, we can't have anything nice. We're cursed. Like, you can't really disappoint them because they're Reds fans and they expect this, but it's really just kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to feel too much sympathy for the city of Cincinnati. Your team was just in the Super Bowl, so like lick my balls. But yeah, this is it does feel like we had a cool thing going and we still managed to fuck it up. And not even like to the Dodgers. It's to the Pirates. Like you blew this to another really bad team. Just and that brings us, I guess, to our, in air quotes, our main.
Ooh.
What?
I just had a really good idea for an alternate episode that I'm not gonna bring up because I want to fledge this out first, and we'll get sidetracked.
Text it to me.
Yeah.
Bringing us to our main topic then, which was the idea, and it was funny. We had this idea before this had happened, and this really is just such a hilariously perfect segue of what is more impressive / more valuable, and with a very wishy-washy use of the word valuable, throwing a no-hitter or throwing a no-walker, because it does seem that we're putting a lot of focus on the hitting aspect, and obviously there's a historic reason for that, but I'm not sure that it lines up to what matters today. Because if you think about it, if I there's no way for me to walk somebody in under 4 pitches unless you use today's current intentional walk rule, which in a game in which you're not allowing, have it throwing a no hitter, you probably wouldn't do that. But if I'm going to issue a walk, an earnest walk, I'm throwing at least 4 pitches, which will jack up my pitch count and might end up leading to things where I'm Hunter Green and I've thrown 120 pitches in the 8th inning and can't finish the game because I'm walking people. Whereas I can allow a hit on the first pitch of my at bat or of that plate appearance, which, yeah, I let up a hit, but like it's way fewer pitches than would be allotted for a walk. And I could potentially still finish the game. Like we force pitchers, or not we force, but like there is a greater leniency with allowing a pitcher to run up their pitch count to achieve the no-hitter. Understandably, this is a game that with large swaths of sentimentality strewn about. But we don't issue, I guess, some of the same leniency with not allowing walks, but allowing hits, even though it seems as though that might be a more sustainable thing to do. So to run through some of the most recent no walkers, we've had one this year so far. We've already had one this year. We had our first no walker was on April 25th, and it was done by Walker Buehler, which I really just couldn't be asking for a better setup for this segment at all. I mean, this is just perfect. He threw, and I'm using the same justifications as a no-hitter, 9 innings pitched. You know, this is not like a 7-inning cutoff. It's a full 9 in a complete game. I don't care about win or loss at the moment, but complete game. Does other stats don't matter? Just you can't have allowed a walk. So Walker Buehler against the Diamondbacks on April 25th threw 9 innings, allowed 3 hits, but no runs, no walks, and 10 strikeouts at 108 pitches total. We had a decent number of them last season with a few earned runs allowed, which I guess I'll leave in because you can allow runs in a no-hitter and still have it count. So I'm going to leave those runs in there too. But all of them were games that had been won except for a single game. Adam Wainwright threw a no walker in April 26th of 2021. Complete game loss, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 107 pitches total. The high water mark for pitches is Zach Wheeler's May 6th performance of last year against Milwaukee, which was a complete game shutout win, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, good for 118 pitches, which between the last 2 years is the most. And the fewest pitches for a no walker was Max Fried's performance, his Super Maddox, on October 11th against Pittsburgh. 9 innings pitched, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts, 88 pitches. And the high water mark for strikeouts was Jacob deGrom on April 23rd against the Nationals of 2021, in which he threw 9 innings pitched, 2 hits, no walks, 15 strikeouts on 109 pitches. God, just unfucking real. So for you, how would you feel? Like, would you be interested if, it's the 5th inning, you're in or the end of the 5th inning, and the commentator says, hasn't allowed a hit yet so far. You're like, oh, okay. I know what we're going for here. How would you feel if the, would the announcer saying hasn't allowed a walk yet so far, would it elicit a similar reaction out of you? What would you think?
I feel like because it is something that hasn't been ingrained as oh, that's a really big deal. And it's almost like, all right, I feel like plenty of games where guys go 5-6 innings without giving up a walk, where it's fairly common. I don't know if it would initially be this response, what's the term for it? It wouldn't elicit a response right away. I feel like if it has been a term and it does build up that history to where control becomes important and all of a sudden guys are fighting to have this, moniker, I think would be fairly interesting to see, where it's all right, I'll just pump pitches down the center of the zone. I'll give up a hit, I'll give up a double. I just don't want to give up a walk. But I guess then at the same time, it's why would this ever take off if you're essentially putting the game at risk for not giving up a walk? It's you give up a walk, they get at max without an error 1 base. A hit doesn't essentially mean just a single. It could be double, triple, home run, whatever. I don't know how I'd feel.
Yeah, it's so first, one other thing to mention, as I'm doing a little bit of research, Baseball Reference shows in my query 257, essentially no hitters. But I have that set to a 9 inning pitched requirement, so I might be missing a few. The real number is 316. Mine also only goes back to 1901, whereas I see on Wikipedia that it goes back to fucking 1875. So, I mean, little bit of noise, but just to say, I have captured 257 no hitters in my no hitter query on Baseball Reference, whereas for my no walker query, I have more. I have more than that. So I have 320. Oh god, no, many more. I have over 600 of these things, and that's only back to 2004, 2003. So interestingly enough, that means that this happens all the time, which is interesting. And to that effect, that actually is surprising. I'm surprised that there's so many games in which a pitcher throws a complete game without allowing a walk. And there's so few games in which they don't allow a hit comparatively. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to put logic to it, but you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to be that disparate. I was well over double before I kind of gave up, and I only got back to 2003. I mean, there's got to be quadruple the results there. Are you muted?
That honestly would make a lot of sense for why they really have never picked up, or it's been picked up for being a thing.
All right,
I mean, look,
on.
baseball has been a sport of statistics for forever. You think that if it was a meaningful, milestone, someone somewhere would have coined a term by now.
So last year, 2021, I'm not going to do a big historical thing because this is a very sudden thought. There was a total of 39,484 hits, right? So 39,500 hits, we'll round it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, there were 15,794 walks. So we'll say 15,800 walks. A little bit less than half. So let's say 40%. So your methodology of getting on base between just those two factors was a 60-40 split. 60% of the time it was via the hit, 40% of the time it was via the walk. And to that effect, I would expect, to some degree, the ratio of no hitters to no walkers to fall somewhere within that line. And yet it is so disparate. And I wonder what that could possibly be, because it's not like it's a little bit over. I got to line 600 in my Baseball Reference query before leaving the 2000s.
Holy shit.
Like, I gave up at the start of the 2003 season, and I was 600 occurrences into that query.
How many no-hitters since 2000? You have that?
Oh, just since 2000? Hold on.
Or however it was, then you were.
All time going back to 1876 is 316. Yeah, just since 2000. Give me 1 second. Hideo Nomo's no hitter in 2001. 58 no hitters since the year 2000.
Jesus.
Over 600 no walk. Because that's what I'm saying. It's so disparate. Like, it's not like if you told me that there was 600 occurrences or plus, but since 2000, 600 occurrences of complete games with no hit by pitches, Okay, yeah, hit by pitches, like they happen, but they're not every game happen. Like you'll see plenty of games where there's not a hit batsman. Happens
Mhm.
all the time that there's a game with no hit batsman. So there's 600 occurrences since 2000. Like, all right, believe that readily. But to
Mhm.
have that disparity between 58 no hitters and over 600 complete game no walk situations, why would that be?
I guess because players mentally, like when they're pitching, are trying not to give up hits and not trying to avoid walks.
Actually, because it has to be psychological. Like I'm with that thinking. Like my thinking is maybe you get so psyched up about breaking up the no hitter part of it
Mm-hmm.
that maybe you start swinging more freely. And if you start swinging more freely, you aren't going to walk.
Hmm.
Right? You'll end up either ultimately collecting the hit, which if your pitcher's pitching efficiently, they'll just let him roll, and then that's not a no hitter. It's a hitter, no walker, right? That's what we're looking
I
at. Or you'll strike out, in which case I guess it kind of just keeps rolling.
I mean that would also play into the fact that batters are actively trying to get hits. They have to swing in order to get hits. You can't like nobody's going up there more than very specific instances and being like, I'm just going to go up there. I'm going to stand there. I'm just trying to get a walk. I'm not going to try no swinging. Just here. I'm here for what happens. The pitcher is controlling everything in essentially a walk situation. Huh.
Yeah,
I imagine if we asked a pitcher this, they would just be like, why would that be a thing?
I wonder. Well, I wonder if we asked a batter who has been no hit before, what they would say.
Hmm.
Because it feels like that's where this is falling on a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like the psychology of their approach to being no hit.
Hmm.
Because I have to imagine that that's where most of these, and I'm not going to look because fuck, I don't care. But I'm willing to bet there's a lot of these no walkers. You know what? Let's spot check like three. I bet a
Okay.
lot of these hits came late in games because of that. I'm going to look at Ivan Nova. Sure, why not? Um, let's look at this one from 2015 from Clay Buckholtz, and let's look at this one from 2012 from Mike Leake. Sure. Okay. First hit. Oh, I clicked on the pitcher name, not the game date thing. Fuck me. All right. All right. Clay Buckholtz in 2012. Fucking Corey Kluber in 2014 and Jeff Locke in 2016. Let's do those. All right. So hits of the game. So Clay Buckholtz allowed 2 hits in this super random 2012 game. And when did they come in the game? So Clay Buckholtz. Oh no, Asdrubal Cabrera took Clay Buckholtz deep in the first inning.
Hmm.
Wow. All right, so that one's right out the window. All right, so let's look at this random Corey Kluber. Oh, this one was tied forever. Kluber threw 9 innings, but it was a 14 inning marathon. Okay, so that one's just no good. All right, so then let's look at this one for Jeff Locke, who allowed no runs at all. Okay, so when was his first hit allowed? Jeff Locke's first non-clean inning. Hold on, folks. We're still looking. The 9th inning. Wow. 2 outs into the 9th inning. Wow, that is devastating. Oh my God.
Why would you pick that one? Oh,
Oh my. It was a perfect game too. Wait, what?
oh,
Wait, hold on. 3 hits. Did I miss a hit? Oh, I missed a double play because I was looking for more than 3 batters.
got it.
I missed a double play. Adeni Echeverria got a single off him in the 1st inning.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So no, that throws my theory out the window of the idea that a lot of these were like no hit bids that got broken up late.
well, again, we've only checked one, so
That was 3.
yep, yes, it was. Numbers are hard. Words are harder.
Life is hard.
Life is hard.
Yeah. Wow, that is because I was going to take us into a conversation about what would you rather have as like a fan
wanted
of
to
the
play Would
team
You
or
Rather?
as defense. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously allowing a hit has the potential for more consequences than allowing a walk. Like you said, like a walk is going to only be 1 base. A hit could be literally a home run, or a single and anything in between. So there's more risk involved with looking at this statically in terms of, did you allow a hit? Did you allow a walk? But at the same time, there are advantages in terms of pitch count and in terms of potentially reduced pressure from it being a no hit situation. I think for, again, it's like sentimentality. A fan would rather see a no hitter, but I wonder if I'm a pitching coach, if I'd almost rather my guy allow a hit in the 1st inning and then throw 9 innings. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to get stretched out to 120 pitches for a no walker. And that's for the best. Like, that has to be a relatively efficient outing for you. I think that comes with advantages.
It does. But
wow, it's way more common than I thought. I mean, holy shit.
Who do you think the all-time leader would be for no walkers? Just
no
like
Walker, Texas Rangers.
Greg Maddux type.
I think I can
MLB
actually
record?
do that for you. If you vamp for me for like a little bit, I think I can find you an
Vamping.
answer.
Okay. Boy, you picked just
This
like
is
the one
this is
thing.
your strength.
This is the absolute epitome of the worst case scenario for this podcast. All right, what's going on with golf? I could talk about golf. PGA this week,
You're the
second
fucking worst.
major of the season.
You're the
It's
absolute worst.
you
person I
told
know.
me to vamp. You did not pick the subject. Phil Mickelson, the reigning PGA champion.
Okay, all right, hold on.
Okay,
I've got guys, and man, I don't know who the fuck these top people are. No, actually, that's not true. I know who a lot of these top people are, but I don't know who a lot of these other people are.
So complete games, no walks.
Yes, complete. All of the qualifications of a no hitter. Well, again, I only did 9 innings because I didn't. Actually, can I? Is there a statistical filter for complete games that actually might help parse this out a little bit? Hold on.
Yeah. So Phil
You're great at this.
withdrew. That's huge news. Live Golf taken off. Southern Hills. Tiger Woods was there today. Played with Matt this weekend. It was pretty good. Shot a 95, which isn't
I can't
outrageously good, but a 3-hole stretch, or had 3 straight triple bogeys. It was ugly.
All right, so the guy with the most is a Hall of Famer, who pitched from 1911 to 1930.
Okay.
Yeah, he has 120 WAR. His name is Pete Alexander. I have no idea who that is, but he had 120 WAR. It feels like we should know that. And then it's like Christy Mathewson, Cy Young, Walter Johnson, Robin Roberts, who pitched from 48 to 66. Goddamn. Hall of Famer. And then it's Babe Adams, Ted Lyons, Carl Hubble, Paul Derringer, Juan Marichal, Epa Rixey. Epa
Sure.
Rixey, who is in the Hall of Fame, pitched from 1912 to 1933. And his name is Epa Rixey.
I am the only evidence you would ever need to show me that we are living in a simulation that started in like the year 2000 is just baseball players' names from like before 1950. Like the computer that made this ran out of RAM for like certain aspects of history and just had to come up with random ass garbage for like old timey baseball names.
All right, so this is funny. Again, this is such a total non sequitur. But Paul Derringer is the only guy of all the names I've read so far who is not in the Hall of Fame. Oh, actually, Babe Adams isn't either. So everyone except Paul Derringer and Babe Adams are in the Hall of Fame. These are the only two guys who are not. Interesting. Like it almost feels like an indicator for you to be on this list that you're like a guy. Because then after Epa Rixey, it's Fergie Jenkins, it's Warren Spahn. Like those are both, two of the greatest pitchers of all time, both like in the Hall of Fame. But our guys, Paul Derringer and Babe Adams, no dice with their 35 years combined baseball experience. Oh, this is wild. Hold on. That's Carl Hubble. All right, that's why. Paul Derringer, 2 World Series rings, 6-time All-Star, led in a ton of things over the course of his career. He led in various points in his career in win-loss percent, games started, complete games, innings pitched, hits and earned runs, batters faced, FIP, which they wouldn't have cared about back in that day. Home runs per 9, walks per 9, strikeouts to walk ratio, and yet only amassed 36 WAR in 15 seasons. Won 2 World Series, but not a Hall of Famer.
Why not?
2 top 5 finishes in MVP voting. I'm wondering why his WAR wasn't higher.
Yeah, like that's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ERAs must have just been a lot lower back then than what his career 3.46 ERA, I guess, isn't fantastic, but
I mean,
whatever.
How can you be that good at one point in your career where like you're leading the lead in those categories? You have to be significantly above average. Was he like really awful during like the later end of his career, like the last 6-7 years, where it's just like crazy negative WAR?
No, honestly, actually, it's almost the opposite. From 31, his debut, to 36, his ERA, there it is, was 3.65 because there was a bunch of 4 ERA seasons. Hold on, I'm trying to deselect in Baseball Reference. All right, there we go. Whereas from 1938 to the end of his career in 1945, his ERA actually went down to 3.24. What looks like it would have been lower because there's way fewer 4 ERA seasons in the latter half of his career than there is in the first half of his career. But yeah, lifetime 3.46 ERA is a pretty decent ERA, especially in the 40s. Whatever. Yeah, who knows? All right, let's look for someone more modern. I'm going to set a limit here to like 1990. All right, so from 1990 to today. Yeah, it's Greg Maddux.
Good.
Greg Maddux, then Roy Halladay, David Wells, Kurt Schilling,
Wow.
Bob Tewksbury, tied with Randy Johnson.
Sure.
Javier Vasquez, Kevin Brown, Cliff Lee, and then Roger Clemens rounds out the top 10. All right, Corwin, name a team Bob Tewksbury played for.
Tewksbury is in New Jersey. I'll say he played for the Mets.
No, if you had guessed the Yankees, he did have a season and a half with the Yankees. But his teams included the Yankees, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Rangers, the Padres, and the Twins. and amassed 20.8 career WAR over the course of 13 seasons. Oh, he let up a lot of hits. Oh, a whole bunch of them. Oh, yeah, this is a lot of hits. Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised he would even go pitch complete games if he gave up a lot of hits.
Oh, one of my favorite names, Brett Saberhagen.
Damn.
Love the name Brett Saberhagen. Rolls right off the tongue.
No idea who he is.
Pitcher for the Royals for forever. Borderline Hall of Fame, not in the Hall of Fame, but honestly, if his career ended today, he might have had a better case. 2-time Cy Young, 3-time All-Star, won the 1985 World Series, has a Gold Glove, was World Series MVP, has an ERA title, 58.9 career WAR, career ERA of 3.34. He had, I just had it under 2,000 strikeouts, 1,715 strikeouts, but like everything else he amassed was so good that I think if he retired today with only his 167 wins and 1,700 strikeouts, he might still actually have a case because he was so efficient. But because when he retired in 2001 and then became Hall of Fame eligible, and I guess that would be 2006, we were still operating under very antiquated Hall of Fame metrics that, yeah, he didn't get in. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of not allowing walks. I'm disappointed because I didn't do too much digging into this because I wanted to save it for our discussion, but I'm disappointed that it's not more uncommon because I like the idea of pump and strikes and not allowing walks in an attempt to just shove than the idea of a pitcher getting a no-hitter, but they had like 5 walks and a hit batter or some shit like that. And it's like allowing, to me, 9 innings pitched, no runs scored, 3 hits, no walks is a better outing than 9 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 5 walks and a hit batter. Like that, the first one for me is a better outing, but it doesn't mean as much as the other one. In
the future, for an upcoming episode, instead of doing it just as no walks, no hits, or all of these, and instead of having it be like a qualified start, let's pick like the benchmarks for what we would want for like an impressive outing, like 1 hit or fewer, 1 walk or fewer, sub X amount of pitches, whatever other outliers or they need to have a minimum strikeout rate, minimum swing rate, whatever it may be, and just be like, who meets the criteria in every category in X amount of games, if anyone, and then just see who is our like something.
One final query that I think would be fun to run. Just real quick, not going to try to draw too many of any conclusions from it. People who just missed the perfect game. So no hits and no walks. But somebody got on base some other way.
Oh no, I don't want it.
I want to know.
Like who won with an error?
Me? Or like just the hit batter. All right, so the most recent time, this happened 3 times last year. So they were all obviously no hitters. But yeah, without any walks, John Means no hitter. The only batter got on from a wild, no, not the wild pitch. It must have been a fielder's choice or something like that. He didn't even allow a hit batter because the other 2 was Carlos Rodon's no hitter and Joe Musgrove's no hitter. Both of them had a hit batter, but nothing else. Scherzer did it
Joe
twice in 2015. But that's wild. So it happened 3 times in 2021. Didn't happen for the 6 years prior, and then happened 3 times in 2015.
One of which being the same guy.
Yeah, two of them were Max Scherzer, one against Pittsburgh, one against the Mets, and then one was Chris Heston, who also did it against the Mets. Twice this happened to the Mets. Ah, the Mets.
Wow. Has there ever been a team that had 2 perfect games against them in a single season?
Ooh, wait, hold on. This is interesting. How many occurrences of this do you think there are? No hits, no walks, but I guess not technically a perfect game because you got on somehow else, some other
I'll
way.
say there's been 23 perfect games.
No, actually, this does include perfect games because I'm seeing some perfect game winners here.
Okay. There's been how many perfect games?
23.
3.
I want to say 27, but maybe it is 23. Oh. And
I'll say 27.
There are 23.
I'll say there's been
27
of these.
Oh, 27 total?
No, 27 of these.
Oh, okay, so 50 total.
Yeah.
Oh, they said there was 23, but now I'm baseball references. Oh, 19th century ones. There were 2. Okay. You're very close. There are 42 total occurrences of this. Wait, did I lie? Oh, I'm looking at the. Sorry, I have a handful of queries. Open at the moment. Yeah, so 42 total occurrences. So if there's 23 perfect games, it means there's 19 there's 19 guys who came unfortunately close. Devastatingly close. God. Yeah. So
sucks to be those.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, really? It's like Felix Hernandez threw his perfect game in 2012 against the Rays, and then Clayton Kershaw came so close in 2014 against the Rockies, 9 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts. God, what a performance! That is the most strikeouts in any of these. Oh no, sorry, Max Scherzer had 17. Oh, Scherzer. How do you think the one guy got on against the Dodgers in Kershaw's thing?
Error.
Corwin votes error. Let's see.
And then error by Justin Turner.
I promise. Ooh, 3 strikeout inning. Love to see it. Oh, Corwin, you're right. It was in that top of the 7th. Corey Dickerson got on. Reach on an E6. Who was playing third base at that time?
Justin Turner.
Was it Justin? I'm looking right now. Was it Justin Turner? Let's see. Third base that day. Oh, no. It was Miguel Rojas.
Oh, Miggy.
Miguel Rojas. Oh, my God. So he's nursing a perfect game up to that point. After the E6, strikeout, ground out, strikeout. 2014. And then strikeout, ground out. And then he closes out the game in the 9th, ground out, fly out, strikeout. That was literally the only guy that touched base. Miguel Rojas, career OPS plus of 85, career WAR of 10.3 in 9 years. That was his only season in Los Angeles. They saw him do that to Kershaw and were like, get the fuck out of here.
All right. 2014, Justin Turner's first year for the Dodgers, started 67 games, 59 of which were at third base.
This should have been one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn. Fuck you, Rojas. Oh, all right. Last thing, we're obviously this is a day late. Recording this on May 16th, which is a Monday. We usually record these on Sundays. However, Corwin and my favorite hockey teams were facing off in a Game 7 in the first round of the playoffs this past Sunday, which means that we obviously were watching that instead of recording. And that series is now over. The New York Rangers are advancing in a dramatic Game 7 overtime situation to take the series 4-3 and are going off to play the Carolina Hurricanes now. Corwin, let it out.
I know it's the cliche. I know it's the stereotype. I know it's the MO of the Penguins to be gifted advancement in the postseason or gifted plays, gifted penalties. Just they are the star of the ref size, whatever you want to call it. I think in this case, though, the Pittsburgh Penguins very much outplayed the Rangers throughout this series, and by all means, they were right there. 2-goal leads in each of the last 3 games. Actually, not in this past game.
5 and 6.
Yeah, this past game was a 1-goal lead, but multiple times. And just it was tough. I mean, not having, either your starter or backup goalie for 3 of those games, just the way things kind of unfolded in game 7, this is absolutely a series that probably is, going to go back on, if you look at the probability of winning over the course of the 7 games, it's probably very much in favor of the Penguins. But if you look at games 5, 6, 7, it's like 50.1 to 49.9 right there at the end. So I can't be upset with the Rangers winning. They're a good team. They had a bunch of players just absolutely play their lights out. And Jacob Troup was a piece of shit, but other than that, hey, go get him.
I would agree. The Penguins absolutely outplayed the Rangers for the entirety of the series. Even in the games that they lost, they very much so outplayed the Rangers, and that's why Corwin and I texted very briefly after the game 7. And really, if it wasn't Louis Domingue in goal, I mean, I think there's kind of no chance the Penguins lose this series. Because you could. That's the difference between the 2 teams. Like the Rangers are a very young team, and the Penguins are a heavy playoff experience. Veteran presence and a lot of playoff experience, and it showed. And like they've got a lot of great fucking players, and it showed in the Rangers' inability to have a lot of consistent passing and their inability to have clean entries, how rocked they constantly got by the Penguins' very good forecheck really threw the Rangers off. It felt like they could never get good, secure passing lanes in the neutral zone for any of the games because the Penguins played a very tight game. And it really, that was the difference, which as a Rangers fan made the games feel when they actually won ridiculous because you're down to the series already. You're getting outplayed, but you still manage to win. Feels great, but yeah, it's one of the big points of controversy from the game 7 was the helmet rule that got was that Gensel that got?
No, it was Matheson. One of our defensive players, Marcus Peterson.
Yeah. Was
it? Regardless, yeah.
Which I didn't realize that was a rule, honestly. I've been very checked out on hockey this year because I've Comcast and they didn't carry MSG this year, which meant I really had no good way of legally watching those games, and I didn't have the time to do the illegal way of doing it this year, so I just kind of didn't. And I didn't even realize this was a rule, honestly. I don't know if it's new. I don't know if I'm just extrapolating it out or focusing it on this year because I didn't watch much hockey, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on this?
It was Marcus Peterson. Both Peterson on his way back to the bench was barking at the refs, but immediately made that beeline for the bench. Sullivan was saying it after the game in his press conference, and Peterson said it in his as well, that, they disliked that he was forced to return to the bench, that the rule was worded that way or was built that way to he had to return to the bench when technically he could have retrieved the helmet to put it back on. But at that point, the helmet was 15 feet away from him in the opposite direction of kind of the play. So instinctively, you kind of have to go to the bench. But when it comes down to how it plays out and you back it behind, the NHL stance that this is meant to protect the heads of players. And boy, that's great if it wasn't for the fact that everything else you do is clearly not in the best interest of the heads of your players, both in, Department of Player Safety and the fines and punishments you dish out, and just the game itself. Like I can't be bad because it's literally the rule, and it's not like there's much that can be done. I think the fact that a Rangers player can go out of his way, rip the helmet off of another player, with the intent of doing so, and that basically causes a man advantage for X amount of seconds. But I mean, it's how it goes, it's red
That
to
I
green.
actually do get. It's the same concept behind having your fight strap secured. If a player pulls your jersey up because you didn't have your fight strap secured, you get in trouble, not the other player. So I actually do get that. What I think is silly, and again, like you said, it's the rule. Like, I don't feel like the Rangers really got away with one because it's a poorly written rule, but it is the rule. But I do think it's poorly written because if you look at other sports that involve helmets, even in hockey, the idea that the helmet being removed is a serious injury risk leads to a stoppage of play. If the goalie has an issue with their helmet, play stops. If you're playing football and the running back loses their helmet on the play stops.
Yeah.
Like, it's very common for that to be the rule because the idea is, now I get that hockey is a little bit different because there's not a want for too much interruption. If your stick breaks or you lose it, you keep going. Like, play does not stop. But that's not a health and safety concern. That's an equipment issue that is not directly tied to your well-being. And if hockey is going to take the stance that, probably correctly, the helmet is very directly tied to your well-being, then stop play rather than lead to this. Have some rules around it, like chin straps have to be secured. Like you can make rules about ripping down on someone's chin strap or ripping their helmet off. That's a minor or whatever. Like, build some language in so that it's not it's not easy to just fuck with somebody. But it's not a good rule to force someone to either go retrieve their helmet or go back to the bench when they can continue the play if they're directly involved in it. Like, if you're holding the puck, if you're handling the puck, you can keep going if your helmet gets ripped off. But if you're out of the play, you can't. But that would really hurt the team on defense because that means you can't square up to guard a passing lane or guard your man, which is going to hurt your team more, probably. Like, it's a poorly written rule.
It's also like, look, I get if you're a defenseman, you lose a helmet, you're trying to, get in between either a shooting lane or a passing lane. Yeah, if you don't have a helmet on, that's a serious safety concern. But also the fact that, all right, in this case, you are kind of going through the play itself just to get back to the bench. I don't know. Again, you're right in just saying it's so poorly worded that it was bound to cause an issue like this. It just so happened that it directly led to a goal.
Yeah, it feels like a performative health and safety thing, but maybe that'll segue to being a more proper health and safety thing.
Also, I do want to say the refs call in overtime to give you a full man advantage, a penalty instead of a penalty shot. Even though I was on the receiving end of the penalty shot, I think that's a bogus call.
I was really surprised.
It's kind of ridiculous. And even as a Penguins fan, I would much rather have the penalty shot because it's a defenseman, Argo just happens to be fairly good at stopping penalties and was having a very good night itself. I thought that was pretty bogus.
Yeah, the officiating, I think, in general for the series was not great. What do you think for is the Penguins in store for going forward for the immediate future?
I was reading some articles today about, all right, is this it? Is this the end of the run? Blah, blah, blah. Sid's not going anywhere. I don't expect Gino to go anywhere. I kind of almost expect Chris Letang to go elsewhere because he's such a good defenseman still that I imagine another team would give him a pretty sizable contract when the Pens can't. But part of me hopes the three of them, as close as they are, would be like, hey, I want to keep this together.
Do you think the Penguins make the playoffs next year?
Yes.
All right. Then we will leave it there with that. I will give updates on how my Rangers are doing against the Canes. It could be a very challenging matchup against the Canes as that series picks up, I think tomorrow, I believe, maybe.
That's soon.
I think it was a really quick turnaround. I thought it was going to be Wednesday, but I feel like it's actually secretly tomorrow. Hold on, I might be wrong. It might actually be Wednesday.
It doesn't matter.
It is Wednesday. All right, never mind. I was
Cool.
wrong. Yeah. So then we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah. But anyway, in the meantime, if you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. If you'd like to follow Corwin on Twitter, you can do so at Corwin Heller. If you'd like to follow myself on Twitter, you can do so at Joshua D. Tracy. If you'd like to send emails to the show, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And until Thursday, y'all have a good one.
Bye.